Anishinaabe exhibit. This is the first peoples of this place. And these are the black ash baskets. Black ash is a tree that used to be abundant in Michigan, and thanks to the emerald ash borer, for about the last 10 or 15 years, it has killed the ash trees. So it's very difficult to get the stuff to make the baskets, and it has just increased the price of ash baskets.
So these are still available to buy and purchase?
No, these aren't purchased. These are just donated to the museum. This one over here is actually made out of pine needles.
Oh no, not pine needles.
Yep. And then this one is decorated with porcupine quills.
Can you actually make one of these? Can I get one from you?
I've made that. This is more of the different types of quill work that you can do. These are birch bark baskets, so these aren't made out of like with the black ash. These are actually birch bark and different types of designs that are made on the baskets. The quills are usually dyed if they want like the different colors in them, or they'll be more natural, like this little beaver here, and then they're just kind of moistened and fed through pre-punctured holes.
How long does something like this take?
Oh my gosh, hours.
Wow.
Yeah. These are trimmed in sweetgrass.
Yeah, that's what I have too.
The sweetgrass not only makes them smell nice, but the sweetgrass also is a natural bug repellent.
Oh, nice.
These are strawberry baskets. The lights must have faded these because they're definitely not as brilliant. The color is not as brilliant as it should be. But those are strawberry baskets. They would be bright red with a green lid.
Oh. So that was green before it was put into the... Okay.
I'm assuming so.
That's a lot of talented work. Wow.
My grandma used to make baskets and sell them, and I've repatriated several for my own personal collection. And I've shared some with family members as well.
That is cool. Oh my, is that another one of the baskets you were speaking of?
Mm-hmm. Yep, this is made out of birch bark, and then it's got porcupine quills. You can see it's a little more brilliant in the color, so the lights haven't faded that one. And it's, you'll notice for, with Michigan, with woodland style designs, you're gonna see more of a floral pattern than you're going to see the geometric. And that's because the patterns are going to mimic the environment. Mm-hmm. The geometric patterns have a tendency to represent like mountains and that type of terrain. We don't have that around here, so you're going to see more of the floral and water designs.
It's amazing what you can do with the wood.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And this shows, this is what a ash log looks like. And first they pound the log to kind of loosen up the wood. And once it's loosened, then they take tools and start to shave these little splints off. Up here it shows an illustration of scoring the log and pounding. You can see they're pounding an axe to kind of bring those little scored pieces up. And then once they're removed, they're kind of tied together, and you take a knife and you make them clean. You know, you flatten them and make them a little smoother, otherwise you'll get splinters while you're weaving. And then this is the start of the bottom of a basket.
And is there any particular reason they chose that wood over like cedar or?
It's softer.
Okay.
But it's also durable. So it's softer to work with. When you're making a basket, you want the splints to be wet all the time because then they're malleable. Mm-hmm. If they're dry, then they're just going to crack. Other types of baskets, there's a birch bark one here, and there's also some up here. And These are more like a sap bat, for collecting sap. The way that the bark is kind of curved and everything, it's folded and secured instead of being like cut and sewn or woven or something. Because when you're tapping maple trees, the sap is very watery and you want it to stay within the confines of your basket. So
That's cool.
yeah. So there's different types for different types of work. This is actually a hamper, a laundry hamper.
I've seen things like this before, but I never realized like what culture it was associated with or the intricate time that it took to actually craft.
Yeah, this would be a market basket up here. So if you were going people use them for contemporary times. We use them for going to like a farmer's market or something. But if you were going out to harvest or gather or whatever, then that's the type of basket.
I've seen like stuff like that for picnic baskets.
Yep, you can use it for a picnic basket.
That's Michigan.
Yep. So these pictures are actually kind of significant. This is in Cedarville, and this is Morning Mist. Okay, and then over here, this picture.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember what the name of this picture is. Sunset at Cross Village. So, two very different locations and two different times of day. And the reason why these are selected and on these particular walls is because one is representing the east and the other is representing the west. The sun rises in the east and it sets in the west. So you've got a sunrise on the eastern wall and a sunset on the western wall. And within Indigenous culture, everything begins in the east with the sunset. So when you go into like a powwow arena, the door to enter the powwow arena is on the east side because that's where the beginning is. You don't enter on the west because that's where things end. Speaking of powwow, we'll go in here and kind of look at the regalia. So one thing that drives me crazy about museums is they portray Indigenous people in the past. Sometimes they portray them in the present. They never portray us in the future. This is a perfect example of portraying the past in the present. So these are actual types of regalia for dancing, and this is a grass dancer outfit. And his clothing has like these little fringes. This is made out of like yarn. But his dance style is going to be, it's one of the oldest, and it's actually, his steps are going to mimic the old ways of when powwows happened in a field and the grass would be tall. So the way he's going to move his feet is going to mimic stomping the grass, not like actually harming it, but just pressing it down to clear the arena. And the way he moves is going to mimic the grass blowing in the wind as well. And he's got a few things. He's carrying an eagle feather. This is actually, this needs to be repaired. This is a sweetgrass braid. Usually they're hooped together,
Okay.
so it should be a hoop. But that's what his regalia is. He's got some jingles on his shoes, so he'll make some nice noise and everything. And grass dancers are a lot of fun to watch.
And what's on his head? Is that
So that's called a roach. That's made out of deer hair.
okay?
And it's woven. I don't know if you can see it or not, but usually it's woven in, and it's just a decorative piece.
It's really nice.
Yes. It takes a long time to do.
I can only imagine the patience.
I think there's horse hair in there as well. So then this is a women's jingle dancer. And she is going to have 365 cones on her dress. It's going to take 1 year to make a dress.
Wow.
Each cone is a prayer, and one prayer is added every day for 1 year. And then when she dances, all those cones are gonna make sound. Her steps are going to make sure that those cones make sound because that is the prayer being sent up to be heard. She's carrying a fan, an eagle feather fan that has some beadwork on it. She's got some ermine ties in her hair, little beaded bag there, and a choker. But you know, and those are just like parts of her regalia, you know, like personal pieces that she's going to wear. The main identifier for a jingle dancer, though, is going to be the cones on the dress.
And so when they were doing this, where would they find the cones or get the cones from?
That's a really great question. These are actually snuff box lids. And even today, when you order cones for a jingle dress, we order them from different distributors, Knock Bay or, you know, whoever. They look like snuff lids, even though they're kind of punctured, you know, printed, however you want to call it. They still look like the old snuff lids. And then they come flat, and then you have a special tool that you use that crimps them and makes them that shape.
Wow.
Yep.
That's so cool.
And it looks like she's got buttons on there. I think they're silver. I don't think those are abalone shell. I think they're silver.
Ooh, she looks fancy.
Yeah, this is a women's traditional, and this is the dance style that I usually do. This is what's really interesting. She's wearing a ribbon dress, so if you notice, the style, of course, is going to be, this is more of like a Potawatomi style, I think, with the ruffle. I don't see it as much up north anyway, with like the Ottawa, Chippewa area. But if you notice, there's ribbon around the bottom.
Okay.
There's ribbon work on the skirt. And that's kind of an interesting thing because ribbon became a trade good after the French Revolution. So Marie Antoinette was all about ribbons and bows in her style. And after the French Revolution, anything that had to do with Marie Antoinette and her overabundance of stuff just fell out of vogue, and people didn't want the silk ribbons anymore. And there were actually like manufacturers that went out of business because, you know, it had gone from being like incredibly popular to nobody wanting it. And we've seen that with different fads, you know, in contemporary times too, you know, where everybody wants, you know, the next new thing until they don't. And so all these silk ribbons were left over, and very similar to these, and people didn't know what to do with them. So they became a trade good. It was decided, take them to the Americas and see if you can trade them with the Indians over there and what you can get for them, because they were worthless in France. So Indigenous people loved the idea of adding ribbon. It was a quick and easy way to put decoration on clothing for ceremonial purposes or even just daily wear. It was lightweight, portable, and you know, it was much faster than doing beadwork. So, for example, on this regalia, you can see that she's got ribbon work on here, and it's all sorts of different patterns down here. There's kind of this really cool little pattern on the ribbons, and then she finishes with some beadwork on there, just to kind of highlight the ribbons. But it's a lot faster to make that patterning than it would be, and it's a lot lighter than if it was all beaded.
Yeah. So the thing in her hair, what do you call that?
That's just a little comb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that customary in the dances?
It can be.
Okay.
Again, I think that's more of a regional thing. I don't see it as much up north. When I'm dancing, I wear a barrette.
Okay.
And you can get a good look at that in the back.
Oh, and then for her shawl?
Yep, she's wearing a shawl. She carries a shawl, and this is a piece that represents, for traditional women, it's going to represent like a blanket or something like that. when women would go out to gather or whatever, they may have to stay out all day, and they would have the children with them. The children may need to take a nap, or you may have to sit down and sort something or clean something, and the blanket just gave a space, a clean space to do that. Or in the case that, maybe there's some danger and they can't return, to the village that night, it works for if they have to camp out overnight.
I gotcha. But would that be something she would dance with holding?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Fringed shawls have become a really important identifier for traditional women to carry. And some of them are really fancy. Some of them get really, really fancy. Also with silk ribbons. And then this is a men's traditional dancer. And he's carrying a dance stick, and he's got a fan. You'll notice that the fans are made out of just about everyone, I think.
You
has
said
a
eagle?
Fan. Yep, his is an eagle feather. Hers I think it's an eagle wing. People also use goose feathers too.
Could you use turkeys or no?
You could.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no animal that's kind of disrespectful.
Right,
Okay.
right. Eagle feather is going to show that you have
Status.
a little more status. In order to get eagle feathers, there's a whole procedure that has to happen. You have to actually fill out an application to the Eagle Repository.
Oh wow.
And when your turn comes, they send like an eagle, and it's like, frozen, and you have to have it processed.
Oh.
You have to number the feathers. You have to keep an inventory of who has the feathers. If you have them or if you gave them away. Yeah, there's a whole thing. And that's all part of actually I'm trying to remember, the Native American Freedom of Religion Act, because we weren't allowed to have eagle feathers for so long. Eagles are a protected species, so now we have to, now that we can have them, we have to prove that we're giving them to other Native people or keeping them within Native families, because they cannot be possessed by someone who is not Indigenous. So on his, you'll see these little silver pins, and that would be representing of trade silver. He's got a silver gorget, which would possibly be some type of status within his tribe. He's got a beaded bandolier bag, the moccasins. This is a very intricate outfit here for dancing. Most of the men that I know that dance don't have this much stuff for a men's traditional dancer. So this is someone of status. There is a special note here about the presidential peace medal that's around his neck. So that's really cool. This is a gift from Ike Peters.
Oh wow, and he has like bracelets too going on there.
Yeah.
And then are those also the prayers like the lady had for her dress, the copper?
No, for him, I think it's more of a decoration, more of a decorative thing.
That is.
I could be wrong on that, but that's what I've been told. But back to the ribbon thing. Here's a little cradle board, and this kind of is also a good example of the ribbon work being used in place of beadwork.
Wow. Is something like that heavy to wear?
So normally they aren't necessarily worn. They can be heavy. Cradle boards were made for babies up to the age of 3, and what they did is they taught the child to look and not touch. On this little piece here, things can be hung to kind of like keep their attention. So little beads or whatever, and just kind of make it fun for the kid, kind of like a mobile.
Yeah.
But this is, if you think about this as a precursor to a car seat, this is amazing. So cradle boards could be put up against a tree, possibly even held in a tree. If you've ever heard the song "Rockabye Baby,"
Yes.
and the treetop, when the bough breaks, they're talking about a cradle board.
That is cool.
Yeah, so the cradle board could have been hung like from a branch, and then as it swayed, the baby would sleep and everything. There would be some type of cushioning in here to keep the baby soft and warm, you know? And then this piece here is actually the safety piece. I had a cradle board, and you could take it, you could set it up on its end and drop it, and it would come down every time on this piece. So it's going to put a little bit of weight so the cradle board will always go forward, but this piece is also strong enough to hold the cradle board up so it doesn't fall flat on the child.
The things you know, because I was not aware. Wow. So there's only an age limit, not a weight limit.
There could be. I mean, some babies are going to grow faster than others.
Yeah, 3-year-old and that. Whew.
Yes. But if you're going to be out in the woods, you know, you're not going to want to carry a toddler on your back.
That
at
is
all
so
times.
true.
So, and the other thing is you aren't going to want to have to keep running after a toddler too, especially
No.
if there's danger. If you're berry picking, there could be bears. You know. There's also little pickers on blackberry bushes and
Those are
things
the
like
worst.
that. So, yeah, you just never know. But yeah, so a cradle board could be hung from a tree. They could be worn. You can put them or you can carry them. Yeah.
And so is this something that goes alongside of it?
That's just a beaded belt. This
Okay.
is showing different types of regalia,
Beadwork.
different beadwork and stuff like that.
Very talented. And this is the back part of it.
This is actually a separate piece. So it looks like it's part of the cradle board and it's not. This is just a bandolier bag. I shouldn't say just because this is an amazing piece of art here. But a bandolier bag is just basically what we would call a purse.
And it looks like it has the ribbons part of it as well.
Yep. But yeah, we call them crossbody purses now.
Ew.
And then I'm just going to bring you over here to see the back of the comb.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's
It's pretty exquisite. It's a silver comb up here, and that's going to go around the back of your head
wow.
to secure it in place, and then it's got this beautiful work that's done on it, including the trade silver.
Just let you guys know we are.
Military section. This is Company K, 1st Michigan Sharpshooters. I have relatives that were in that.
Oh, wow.
That's my Uncle Clarence up there. In the
Oh,
corner.
no.
Yeah, I call this the cousin room.
The cousin room?
I do.
That
This
is
the
all.
cousin
See,
room.
she got the little nifty glasses going on there. Shirley. Oh, wow.
Ballot. I know like all the people in these pictures.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. We can actually go this way if you want. That doesn't matter.
Thank you, Katrina.
You are very welcome. It has been my pleasure.
Left or right? Ooh. So guys, we just ended a beautiful tour of the Grand Rapids Public Museum. You guys gotta check out Katrina right here. Her wonderful husband right here. He's a pastor at the
Hudsonville United Church of Christ.
exactly, worded perfectly. If you're worried about the price, if you're Kent County, $10, park free. You're a student, $5 here. See Grand Valley right there. So guys, have a wonderful day and explore, learn, and journey somewhere different. Bye.
That's not Smitty.
That is not Smitty, and this is not Black
Is this real? That's real?
Yes.
That's an actual mascot.
Yes.
Is it found in Michigan?
I don't know. It says acquired from Dr. John Post of Adrian, Michigan in 1903.
So this was found in Michigan?
Oh, it is
I
a
just
cast.
asked that.
Cast produced by Illinois State Museum of Paleontology in 1994.
Oh wow.
So yes, the Kent Scientific Institute was the precursor to the current Grand Rapids Public Museum.
That's quite fascinating.
And a habitats exhibit.
Oh,
And
wow.
this shows different habitats. Actually, this is kind of like the four seasons that are going on in here.
Okay, Katrina. Is this your main area of expertise here?
This is not my main area of expertise. If you want me to talk a lot, you want to go to the Anishinaabe.
Hey, Claire. Oh, it's a bear. Lights. What type of gun is that?
Oh
Oh my goodness. Are you expert in that?
The Lewis machine gun says
Wow.
30 caliber.
Who was shooting that gun right there?
Right?
It's wrong.
Wow.
It looks like it had a mount. It was mounted on something, so it wasn't just like someone trying to knock it off.
I like the Obama jacket.